everyone, and welcome to the Hippy Soul Sessions, episode number 16. Today is very exciting. I have my beautiful, awesome, amazing brother, massively inspirational to me, and he's agreed for a podcast, which is very risky, and he knows it.
She didn't say that nice stuff just before she hit record.
We did a test run prior to this. So today we're going to be talking to Carl, not so much about fishing, because he gets asked that a lot. He's a professional fisherman in America. He's been on the world stage twice now, top 50 anglers of the world. And that's been his dream since he was little, since I can remember. And I'm in America now supporting this dream that he's had since he was little. We're in his shop. And so I'm going to be talking to him more about personal, motivational, inspirational things that has inspired me as well. So welcome, Carl.
It's been awesome. Yeah, it's been super cool. It's been super cool to watch Sair start her own podcast and start a cool new journey and take it head on and grow, every day. And we've both been best friends since I can remember, since I was a little kid. And to see us both, still best friends, and to have Sair here, she's been over, supported me when I first came to America in 2012. They came over, and then my wedding in 2019, and then it's always been my dream to make the Bassmaster Classic, and I got to look up in the stands and see my mum and my sister there, and it was super cool. So it's been amazing to have her here. I got a little girl, 2-year-old girl right now, and they've only been able to see her once in the first year in November, almost 2 years ago, and so they've got to hang out with Riv the last couple of weeks. It's been amazing.
And she's grown so much.
Yeah.
Within a year,
changing.
it's like, oh, wow.
Every day. She's grown just since she's been home.
Yeah.
It's been cool.
That brings me to my first question.
Okay.
Is literally
Now for the hounding.
Now. Remember what I used to do to you as a big sister? No, what is it like being a dad?
It's the best thing that has ever happened to me by far, better than anything that I could ever imagine. It was weird. I never really thought too much about being a dad for most of my life, and then about 3 years ago, it was just crazy. I just one day, I just looked at Kayla, and I think it was because I found my soulmate, I found my life partner, and I was just like, I want to be a dad. And she's like, really? And I'm like, and she's like, when? And I'm like, now.
Right
And,
now.
yeah. And little Riv came into our life, and that's my being a good dad and being the best dad possible to Riv is my number one priority over everything, and being a good husband to Kayla. But it changed my life, my perspective. It changed everything about me in so many positive ways. It's the most difficult, challenging thing I've ever done, and that's not, and I didn't have to give birth like Kayla and like what a mum has to. It's just I have the challenges of other things, and I have other jobs, but to keep Riv and Kayla safe and protect them and give them a good life it's my number one priority.
I love seeing you as a hands-on dad. I think that's a huge thing these days, seeing men get in there and be a hands-on dad. Do you really enjoy that part?
Yeah, I love it. I want it to be, I don't want to miss a beat. I don't want to miss anything. And I feel I never thought this was a priority in my life. But I'm just so lucky that it's happened this way, is where Kayla and I are working together, and my job and my dream and my goals has been able to make us work as a team. And now my priorities have been no matter what, I want Kayla to be able to be the best mum possible to Riv. And that's a huge thing. I just want both of us to be able to spend every second that we can. And unfortunately with my job, fortunately, I have an incredible thing where we can be on the road, we can explore, and we're together a lot. But even just one day for me, being on the water, daylight till dark, and getting back, I make sure I'm back. But to put Riv to bed, to see her 30 minutes, an hour before she goes to bed, and I see how much she's changed from seeing her the morning before to that afternoon. And the more that happens, the more I'm like, I just don't want to miss anything.
Yep.
And it's just been blessed to spend that amount of time with her and with Kayla and watching her grow.
Your priorities definitely change when you have kids.
Yeah.
It becomes a higher thing. You become second. And it's interesting how that happens and your perspective changes.
You don't think it's gonna. You think your dream, your goal is gonna be about you, and then all of a sudden, like you're not. You are, but you drop down a few tiers, and everything is about your little girl, or boy, or son, and your wife as well.
Yes, yeah. So that's the next question would be on social media and people seeing your life and going, oh wow, like you get to travel the world, you get to travel America, you get to fish every day.
Yeah.
Perfect family, soulmate, everything's awesome. Is it always awesome?
It definitely is not, hasn't been, and it's been the hardest work and most challenging thing I can ever imagine doing. I think anything that's good comes with anything great is going to come with those challenges. It's going to have the opposite effect. Nothing good is going to be easy, and the more you realize that, and the more you see that, the more you start to actually, when it gets tough, realize that it's because it's something good, and and then it helps you actually work through that, not give up. And that's what most people do when it gets tough. They give up, and the only reason I'm here is because I've wanted to give up a lot of times and hit a lot of adversity and brick walls and everything in between, but I chose to push through it. And on the other side of that has been the greatest blessings I can ever imagine. But I'm like, thank God I didn't give up. That's the only thing. But yeah, you've got a taste of it, and no one gets to see it at social media. It looks incredible, but it's the hardest work you'll ever do, and it doesn't stop. And there's a big mistake I think that I made and everyone makes, is thinking that there's some end goal and that this is going to be, if I get here, I'm going to be happy. If I get this goal, I'm going to be happy. I've hit every goal that I've ever wanted, and that it just, you got to keep working to the next thing. It doesn't just end right there. And once you realize that this is a lifetime thing, this is something you're going to do every single day for the rest of your life, it changes your priorities to what am I going to love so much that no matter what gets in front of me, I'm going to push to the next thing. And once you find that, that's when you'll excel, because the challenges won't outweigh the goal or the dream or your life. And if that comes down to finding your passion and finding what you love. Because when a kid asks me, how do I make it, or how do I become a fisherman, and how did you get there, I just tell them, you have to love this with every ounce. There can't be a plan B. There can't be like, I might give it a go. It's like, you better love this with every part of your body, or you're not going to make it, because it's going to get too tough, and then you'll quit.
One of Arnold Schwarzenegger's quotes is, hard work works.
Yeah.
100% of the time for 100% of the people.
Yeah. Yeah, it does work every time.
It works, but it's hard.
Yeah,
it's
going to be hard. And you can, to make it over here, I didn't have the experience. I didn't have the knowledge that they have in America. I didn't have the family living here. I didn't have the support, the sponsors, all of these things that it takes to make it. But I had heart, I had guts, I had grit, and I just tried to I let work get me to the level I needed to get. I just was like, I'm just going to outwork till I get what I want. I'm going to break through it and past it. But it went through some nightmare times. It was so bad, but it got really bad. We've been broke several times, got kicked out, got everything you can imagine going wrong with visas, not allowed in the country, just all of these things, and it just never ended. And the passion for fishing kept bringing me back to where there wasn't an option of quitting.
So how do you keep the fires burning like that? Through adversity, like when it's really bad and you're like, is this the time where I do quit? When you get to that really bad level, what is it that keeps you going?
Doing what you love. So, if you're just going through the motions and you're at a job that you just I'm here because I'm getting paid.
Mm.
As soon as it gets that tough, you're going to be like, this isn't worth it. I'm
Mm.
out. Uh, Having the right people around you is huge. It was crazy. Like my life is like every time I've hit a brick wall and I've gotten right to that point, someone somehow has come in and steered me in the right direction or got me over that next hurdle. And I tell people that, like, if you go after your passion and your goal and you have a dream and you'll go after it with everything you've got, people will help you along the way. It's crazy.
People want to
They'll
help you,
see it
don't
and
they?
they'll like feel something in them, in you.
Mm.
They've already made it and they're like, oh, you're like I was. But like if you half-heartedly, no one's going to help you
No.
because they know you probably quit if it gets tough because you're all over the place. But if you set this goal and you go after it, people will help you along the
People
way.
can feel heart,
Yeah.
which is,
And they
yes,
see you going at it and
grinding.
they're like, I want to help him because I see you struggling, but I see you trying everything you can and you're not asking, you're not got your hand out, you're
Mm.
not feeling sorry for yourself, you're just working. And when you do that, people see it and
Mm.
then they will step in and help you. And I do it to people now. I
Mm.
look for it and it's rare because you're trying to find it in a kid, but when you do, it's very it's very, I don't know what the word is, but
Inspiring when you
yeah,
see
when you
them.
see a kid and you see someone just they want it so bad and you're like, oh, I remember those feelings, and then you want to help because you know someone helped you.
Mm.
But yeah, really it comes down to having good people around you, having the right mentality of and wanting it for the right reasons.
Mm.
And then I think just understanding that, like, when things get tough, hard, real hard, you're on the exact track that you need to be. It's like if life's cruisy and easy, you're probably just sitting in the pack with everyone
Mm.
else cruising.
Not
When
trying to.
yeah, not trying to when you're gonna try and extend yourself and go after something that's rare or difficult or hard, it's gonna get really hard. So when it gets tough, I know, oh, I'm probably doing the
You're on
right
the
thing.
brink of like
Yeah,
pushing through the comfort
yeah,
zone into the unknown, and
yeah,
that's scary
yeah.
sometimes too.
It's scary, but you've got to take that jump before you know it's going to be okay.
Mm.
Like going into it blindly, like I just had no idea that this was ever going to work out,
Mm.
and I'm still working, I'm still haven't make it. I want to become undeniable. I want to become all of these things, and I don't know if that's going to happen, but I'm going to work like it's gonna.
Mm. Well, I can attest to that. I've
Yeah.
seen you from a young boy constantly doing the work and grinding and
Mm.
never faltering, even when there is times where you've rung me and said like, "Oh my God, like,
Yeah, I don't know what
what
to
am I
do.
meant to do?"
Yeah.
You know, you've been broken
You
down,
find
you've
a
had things
way.
stolen from you,
Yeah.
you've had so many things happen. But do you think a bit of the competitive nature comes into that? That might help because I know he's always been competitive.
Yeah.
It's always helped me and inspired me actually because I've been better at things because I was doing it to so we can hang out.
Mm.
So I'd get better at swimming. I'd get better at
Ping
Iron
pong.
Man,
Yeah.
Ironman, and then
Yeah.
ping pong and everything. And I wasn't
Just to
actually
beat me.
just to be just as a brother is pleasing.
Yeah.
But it was really
Swimming.
inspiring because I was like because I was hanging around you,
Yeah.
I was getting better.
Yeah. 100%.
So do you think that's part of like your drive
Yeah.
is the competitiveness and the
Yeah, I
people
think you
you hang
have
around?
to. Yeah, that's the biggest one. You have to have, competitiveness in you for business and whatever it is, because that's the one thing that's going to get you up. When that person's beating you, it's like, well, I got to train harder. I've got to get up earlier. I've got to do these things. But it's all about the people you hang around. You're only going to be as good as the people you hang around. A real good quote that I heard a long time ago is you can race people that you're much faster than in a 100-meter sprint, and yeah, you'll win. But and yeah, cool that you won. But if you race people that are much faster than you, you'll get beaten, but your time will be better.
Yes.
So your
Yeah, because
time,
you're trying
because
to.
you're going to try that much harder.
Yeah,
And so that's
that's so true.
that has been my life. I've always just, when I get good and I just get at the top, I go to the next level, and then I get beaten by everyone again, and I'm like, I got to get better. And then, but after you do that for years and years and years, you look back and you fish with someone, or you compete with someone in whatever your art is, or whatever it is, and you'll go against someone that is really good, and you're just light years better, and you're like, whoa, I can't believe how much better I am now. And it's because you're hanging around people that are just better than you, and they're forcing you to level up.
Well, you hanging around 50 of the best anglers,
Yeah,
you're
you're
certainly going to
50.
get better. Like
You have
the
to.
saying, hang around 5 people, you'll be
Yeah.
the 6th, depending good or bad.
Yeah,
You know?
it can be in a bad way, or it
Mm-mm.
could be in a good way.
Yeah.
So you better make sure that the people that you're hanging around are the people that you want to become better at, because
Mm.
that's who you're gonna turn into.
And being competitive doesn't mean you're not friends.
Yeah,
That's what a lot of
no,
people get wrong.
yeah, my
Is that
best friends I compete against every
exactly?
day.
Yeah.
Mm.
Tell the viewers and the listeners about the twist, because Carl and I were talking the other night, and he said this awesome little story, and
Yeah,
I was like, "That is amazing." I'm going to ask you about that.
it helped me a lot, because what happens is, and what happened this week is, I fished the Bassmaster Classic, and it's the hardest work that I've ever done. Probably one of the toughest weeks of my career, as far as work goes. Just absolutely insane. And I came 46th out of 50 guys. I had a really tough tournament, and after the end of it, I drove from Tennessee to Texas in December, and I pre-practiced in the rain and the freezing cold, and it was ice on me, and I'm dreaming about winning this Bassmaster Classic, and spent a year thinking about it and working for it. And then you travel across the country, and you have 2 weeks leading up to it, and you practice daylight till dark for 3-4 days. And the tournament starts, and you just grind and you work, and I came 46th, and it's like, it feels like, well, I got nothing from that.
Right.
It was a waste.
Yeah.
Why did all of that happen? And that's what I got out of it. And that's where this story helps me, is because it basically says, don't underestimate the power of the twist. And the story goes like, a mother is at home trying to get the lid off a salsa jar or whatever, and she tries hard as she can, and she can't get it off, and she gives it to her youngest son, and he tries as hard as he can, he can't get it off, so he gives it to the middle brother. He's 6 foot. He gets a towel on it. He does everything he can. So then he gives it to his 6'4" older football playing brother, and he gets the towel on it and a knife and under it, and just turning this lid. No matter what these three boys do, they cannot get this lid off. And they're like, it's stuck. And they give it back to the mum, and she's like, I'll give it one more go. And she turns it, and the lid just pops right off. And that's saying that all of those twists, all of those tries didn't go to waste. All of those tries came to the lid just popping off. And so when you do all of those things, and you try and you work at it, they're all attempts at the twist. They're all working towards that lid popping off. And so nothing's wasted is what I get from it. There's no effort that's wasted just because it didn't work out to how you think it's going to work out.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, it's if you're working towards it, it's building you, it's growing you, and it's working towards the lid popping off. You just got to keep going.
When you were telling me that, you were like, the classic was one of the twists.
Yeah, and this
But one with
last
the
week,
tea towel.
yeah,
You're like,
yeah, the last one was, yeah, I had the tea towel on it, and between the legs, and as hard as I could go.
But when you see it like that, it would make you feel so much more at ease and calm.
Yeah, you don't put the pressure on yourself as much as like, oh, it didn't work out or whatever. And the reason we have this shop, and the reason our career took off, is I won 10 Killer Lake in 2019, and that was 9 years of working and grinding, and I was and I never understood all the adversity that I went through, because I looked at guys and they just came in and they would win multiple, and I'm there just going broke and getting kicked out and having to work my way back and doing all these things. And I'm like starting to think, why me? And then when it happened and I won, I'm like, I understood all the adversity then, and I was like, oh, thank you for all of that. It made me who I am, and it made me stronger and able to
And how
grind
much more
through.
sweeter the
Yeah,
win
and then it
is.
made the win just sweet.
Another way, when you told me about the twist, I thought about when you're a kid and you've always been an entrepreneur. We've both been always looking
Yeah.
at businesses and stuff like that in different ways, and even you trying different things, like you were trying to sell turkeys, you were doing archery, swimming, you were like good at many things, golf, and just trying those things are also a twist because it's
You're trying to find what you actually really love.
and if you didn't try, that can't
You
get
won't
crossed
find
off.
out.
It's not like a
It worked me to where towards what I did find my passion. Like, oh, I actually really love
enjoy
this.
this. Yes. And you've always been like that. You've always said, this is what I'm going to do. And that's been really inspiring because he's been direct on. Like once he was trying fishing in between, but he was trying other
Fishing
things
was always
to make sure, I think, too. And you're also good at a lot of things. But once you decided, you were like, this is what's happening.
Laser focused.
And to watch that, I'm like, wow. Because a lot of people don't have that.
Yeah. I do tell that to a lot of people. Like they ask me like anything about life, whatever, and I'm like, you just have to do whatever you can to find your passion, because without that, you can't find find your purpose, and and it's hard to do. And I don't know what, but the only thing you can do is just try as many things as you can, and just keep trying them. And even if you say I haven't found it, keep trying. Just do something, work towards something, because you're not going to find it just going through the day in day out things of life.
And listening to other people as well.
Talking to other people.
You can listen to other people's perspectives.
I've seen what people have and been like, I want that. And how did he get that? And talk to him and then say, how did you get this? And most people will tell you.
Yep. And sometimes you get other people put up their thing of what you should do. Like you'll have teachers or other people tell you that that's what you should do. And that's not right because they don't know you.
Yeah. They're not like, they don't have your goals. Yeah.
When you first found, can you remember back, did you get that feeling of intuition of like, oh, this is it?
Yeah, no, I had that a bunch, and it always just sort of came with fishing for some reason. There was just something like that. I just found peace out there when I was fishing. I was just always like at home, like this is where I want to be. And I'd take my friends fishing and other people fishing, and no one just like quite had it like I had it. Like I was nuts, and I could just be out there and do it no matter what the weather. I loved every part of it, and no other sport or thing like did that to me. Like you got to have something that like I wake up before my alarm all the time. I wake up at 5 o'clock because I'm like excited to get up and attack my goal. And until you have that thing that is getting you up, you're gonna just get up whenever you want, and you're gonna just poke around and do whatever you want. You got to have that thing that like gets you up because you're excited to like tackle it.
Instead of I have to get up, it's like I get to
I get to get up
go
and
do
go.
this. I'm blessed to do this. This is amazing.
Yeah, that's a big one.
It's been very inspiring, and it's actually infectious as well. So when you see someone that is really right into it like you had all your mates coming around doing the same thing, very like everyone was like, wow, this is amazing. Very positive and uplifting. I was like that. My friends were like that. Everyone from the town that you're at were like, oh, he loves that. In your class, they'd be like, where's Carl? Gone fishing.
I didn't like that then, but I'm proud of it.
At the time, you're like, oh, whoops, I'm going to get in trouble here.
And they didn't notice, but I was never there on Fridays because the weather was good.
One of the other things that you've always been really good at, and we have made fun of you before about it, but is he's really good with money, and most people aren't. So we're like, how are you so good with money? I reckon he's still got his first dollar. I nearly guarantee it. But I thought this would be a really good opportunity to ask you, because I know just recently you're getting right into smarter money choices and how to invest and that kind of thing. For some advice, some really good money advice that has really helped you.
Just like I did have my first dollar, and then this sport about took it all.
I knew it.
this sport was really expensive, and we went fully broke. We went in debt. We had credit cards racked up. I mean, we did all the wrong things, but that's kind of like led us to the right things, I guess, too. But winning 10 Keller, buying this place, a lot of it just happened just through instinct a little bit. I just don't, all I used to think about with money is just, I just need to get it and put it in the bank and just keep building it up. But I think learning over the last couple of years was speaking to someone that actually knows about money. I think that's the best thing you can do. If you don't understand money, it's just like anything. And we've got a guy that we talk to now, and when we first spoke to him, the relief that came off of me, because I realized, like, if someone asked me about fishing and they said, what's a rod and reel and a bait, I can tell you just every tiny detail of it, to the best at the highest thing that you could possibly get. Like, no one could possibly tell you better, and it would be so easy. It's so easy for me. I don't even have to think. And then when you talk to a guy that knows money like that, you're just like, oh, I don't know anything about money. And so finding someone you can trust and someone that knows how to deal with money, I think, is just huge. You have to do it. Otherwise, you'll just, it won't work for you, and
you'll
you'll
find out
learn
the
the
hard
hard
way.
way. Yeah. And so as just keep doing things to try and get money, and then if you can get some, talk to someone about what to do with it. And that's probably my best advice.
Because some people, well, most people, like, try to do everything themselves without delegating and go, I'll just do it. I'll just do it.
Yeah.
Whereas if you delegate,
How are you supposed to know about all of this,
all
then
those
know about
things.
taxes, then know about investments, then know about banking? Like, you would have to be, that's full-time jobs for people, and then you've got a full-time job, so like you're only putting a tiny bit into those things. And yeah, it would be nice if you could do it all, but not all of us can do that. A lot of us have families and businesses and stuff, so having someone take that weight off you a little bit and putting the trust in them, I think, is big.
Huge. And also too is like, how do you go about delegating? Because I know, like, as you were growing, it would be hard to actually employ people.
Yeah.
And once you started employing people, how was that to, like, give over some of the things?
Yeah.
for you?
That's just happened over the last couple of years, and Kayla's mum and dad have been really good for us, because we spoke about that, because my time now is everything. The time is precious, and your time is like, there's no price on my time, because of if it takes away from me spending it with River and Kayla, then it's got to be worth it. And so putting your trust into no one's ever going to do the job that you're going to do for your business, and you got to understand that, and not have expectation that they are. It's not their business. They're not gonna put in what you're gonna, no matter what you pay.
Understand it 100%.
But understand that this is my business, and you're employing them, and they're gonna do their best, but it mightn't be up to your standards, but you can work towards that. But no one's ever going to put the effort that you expect out of yourself into your own business. But just letting go of that expectation a little bit, and freeing up your time in things that other people are better at, whether it's social media, content creating, emails. There's all of these things that you can start to do, and it might cost you money at the start, but it's freeing up all of this time to then you can focus on something else that could be making money. Yeah.
So like you're better off
putting
going
in the
on the
time
water and getting everything ready and
I should be fishing and learning and getting better, not sitting down doing content, editing like a video. I need to be on the water doing that. So
yeah, exactly.
it's a big one.
The other thing I wanted to ask you was, what is your favorite book?
I need to read more, and I'm getting a lot more into reading over the last couple of years, but The Power of Now probably is the one that I've read that changed a lot of my perspective and a lot of things, and I think everyone should read. I really love that one.
It was interesting because I was reading it. I didn't realize Carl was reading it at the exact same time. We were like, how weird is that?
Yeah, it's super cool.
And we worked that out. We're like, That is so strange. And we'd
Yeah.
both read it before and then
Yeah.
picked it up again
I
at
know,
the same
I've read
time.
it a couple times.
Mm.
But any autobiography and stuff like that, just listening to people's stories, how they made it, what
Podcasts are
they go
great
through.
too.
Podcasts are
Mm.
unreal.
Who's your favourite
But
podcaster?
I'd probably listen to Rogan
Yeah.
more than anything, just because he has so many different guests on. But
Mm.
I listen to him, or I listen to fishing ones like Dave Mercer and just straight fishing podcasts
Yeah.
as well.
Motivational
Yeah,
ones.
a lot of motivation. Yeah, like motivation is like you got to have discipline over motivation, but motivation gets you going, but discipline keeps you going. So, um, and motivation washes off. So like I listen to it every day. It's crazy. Like I have these motivational things that I listen to that I listened to 15 years ago on my earphones when I'm running, and I listen to them today, the same ones, and they give me the same boost, and they give me reminders constantly like, man, I've been lacking on that and I need to step up on that or this,
Mm.
and it's constant reminders. And if you have those constant reminders in there, you'll start to do them, but you can't just listen to it and then that's it. It's
Mm.
every day.
I actually like that you say that every day because
Mhm.
it will hit you differently too. Some days you
How you're
needed to,
feeling,
yeah,
yeah.
you needed to hear that.
You need a boost, or
Mm.
you need to hear something. Just something will pop up, and you're like, "That's the one I needed to hear right then."
Mm. And not only your mind, like as a sportsman, not only your mind, but you need your
To-
body and being fit and everything,
yeah.
and also your eating.
Mm.
How much has changed for you over the years?
Yeah, coming to America, I've been lucky. My uncle and auntie, Linda and Mick, like I just got lucky that I ran into two people that fitness was a big thing for them, and otherwise I wouldn't understand it. And it taught me a lot about discipline. Like think back, and they were getting it. Me and Chrissy up at 3 a.m, swim triathlons, and I'm like, we're in bed and we're like getting up to train. And I'm like, this is crazy, but that set the tone for my life of what it takes to,
Mm.
to be good at something. You had to get up at that time to swim before school or ride.
Yeah.
And I just carried like the fitness thing and health is just the perfect analogy for anything in life. You get in, you get out what you put in. If you work your muscles out, they'll get stronger and bigger. And if you stop, they'll get weaker and smaller. And if you train cardio, you'll get fitter and faster. And if you don't, you'll go the other way. It's like, it's the perfect analogy for it.
Mm.
And so if you take that and and I just find it a huge part, and I had to really concentrate in America because the food over here is really bad. And so we've had to really look into it way more and be more diligent than ever because
Mm.
just the industry over here is tough. And so Kayla and I have just our cupboard and our pantry and our fridge just looks so different from 2-3 years ago when we
Mm.
thought we were eating healthy. But having good health and fitness and having a healthy body and a healthy mind just helps you in every single aspect. Being a dad, being a father, being a
Mm.
husband, being a friend. I owe it to them and the people around me to look after myself, because I think wherever your standard is of your health, that everything else kind of falls below that.
Mm.
And so if you haven't got the respect and the thing for yourself to keep yourself at that, what are you going to do with everything else? What's your work ethic going to be like for
Yeah.
this and that? It's going to fall under that. And so keeping yourself healthy should be number one priority. So then you can help the people underneath you.
Mm. 'Cause what did you say to me the other day? How you do one thing is how you do everything,
Yeah.
and I really like that.
Yeah. It's a beauty.
That's a really good
Mm.
one. And especially on the road, that would be difficult too because a lot of takeaways.
It's
Sometimes there wouldn't
easy.
be a
Yeah.
running track, or
No.
you don't have your gym.
Yeah,
So
you can have every
what do you
excuse in
do?
the world. You don't have any excuses. It has to be done.
Mm.
So we take a kettlebell. You can
Yep.
do push-ups. You can do squats. You can go on a walk. A walk is as good as anything. Like a hard walk for 30 minutes is incredible for you. And we just take all these things. I see running and walking as I get to do that, not I have to do that.
Mm.
Like we got given the gift to be able to run and walk and lift and do all these things. And so I want to utilize all those things. And so it's never, it is hard for me. People are like, "Oh, you're so motivated." I'm like, I don't want to do any of it. It all sucks. I hate running and getting up early and having to do that. And I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm worn out, and I look at the gym. I'm like, oh, it's the last thing I want to do. But when I get it done, I'm like, oh, thank you that I did that. You've never regretted a workout, never regretted a run.
No.
You'll always feel better, 100% guaranteed. And
So you'll regret not doing it,
you'll regret,
but you won't regret doing it.
you'll just act like, oh, I didn't really need to do it. But
Mm.
that you saying no to that will start
Filtering.
progressive of saying no to this and that and all these other good things. But
Yep.
when you do a workout and then someone offers you chips or something unhealthy, you're more likely to be like, no, I don't want to. Like,
I literally
yeah,
just made myself do it.
I just did a workout. Maybe I'll make a better choice for what I eat now and what I have for breakfast, and starting your day like that. And it's a like your whole life is made up of these little tiny choices, and it's not all of these big things. It's just a bunch of little tiny things. And when you start changing all these little tiny things, all of a sudden you wake up and 2 years later and you're feeling amazing. Your business is going good. Your family's all healthy, and you're thriving. And that's how I see success. That's another big thing that I've changed my mindset on. Is I used to think, I got to win. I got to be the best bass fisherman. I got to win the elites. I got to be world champion, and I still want to. That's all big goals, but I want to win at every aspect of life. You're not winning if you're great at one thing and not a good father, husband, mother, wife, whatever it is. That's like, you're good at one thing, but like, look at this side of you, you're lacking here. So you're really successful. And so it's the hardest work. It's way harder because you can't put, of course, you're going to be good at something. If you just put all in on one thing and you have nothing else, you will get good at that. You'll get good at whatever you put your focus in on. So for me, I have to put my priorities where they're at, and then try and get good at all of those priorities.
Have a nice
it will
balance.
take longer, but you'll have a better balance.
Yeah.
But if you want to be great and just like, a world champion, sometimes you have to be selfish and go after it. But I'm lucky that I have Kayla that has supported me, and I have been selfish in the past, and it's got me a long way. But then my priorities have changed, and I'm like, maybe I'm going to try and be world champion and be a world champion dad at the same time, which is going to be hard, but I think
big goals. And I already know that you're going to be a world champion dad, and I already know you're going to be a world champion fisherman as well. The other thing too was the cold plunge. I saw that out here. You've been doing that days and days on end.
Yep.
How long have you been doing that for now?
It's going on 2 years, but like, I've always been attracted. Like, I've actually been doing a lot longer, because when I did sort of the training camps and stuff with Chris, I did chirotherapy, which was getting in sort of this cold deal. But ever since I was a kid, I've always been attracted to cold water. Like when we're at the beach in the winter or something, or I drove to the beach.
Pool at home?
Yeah, the pool. I would dive in and I'd come out and I'd be like on a high, crazy, and all of this energy. Yeah, Dad would pay me to put the
creepy crawly.
Yeah, put a patch on the bottom of a pool or something, or we'd dare each other to jump in, and I'd always jump in the pool or in some creek in the middle of winter. So I always had it. And then it was only a couple of years ago I started seeing like the people talking about the health benefits. And with what we do, you get a lot of inflammation. My neck, my back gets a lot of work from bass fishing, and I saw the benefits of it. So I started trying it, and I realized how hard it was. And when I first got in, I lasted about 15 seconds, and I jumped out, and I'm like, that sucks, and it's impossible. And I kept working towards it, and I worked up to now. I just step in, like, I literally out here, I'll take an axe out there in the middle of winter and break all the ice up and slide in there, and my breath doesn't even change. But what I found is that if you start your day with something that difficult and you get through it, everything else the rest of the day seems to be a breeze. It's weird. It's like if you've already done the difficult thing, and just the mental benefits of the cold plunge has helped me more than the actual sort of physical stuff.
Yeah, okay. So it's mentally, like, even just
clarity.
clarity.
If I got 20 emails and some of them are tough ones and I'm like, oh, I've got to do this and this, and I'm feeling a bit funny about it, if I get in a cold plunge, I'll knock them out in no time
Yeah,
and not
right.
even
Just
blink
like a
twice. And, yeah, your
boost.
brain's just firing. You've gotten through that hard thing. Now you can have a coffee. Now the day is started and
Does it make the
it's
coffee
tough.
sweeter
Oh,
too?
it makes everything just so much better. But it's a nightmare thinking about getting in it in the mornings in the
Oh,
middle of winter. It sucks.
well, there's
But
that book that's called Eat the Frog, but
yeah,
that's like Eat the Elephant.
yeah,
That's like
you're
that's like
eating.
huge. It's like, oh,
It's tough. But I'm always just like, I'm 3 minutes away of having a great day. But it's
when you put
three
it like
minutes of
that, it's not so
hell.
bad.
Yeah. I say 3 minutes of hell for like 24 hours of heaven kind of
Yeah,
thing. Like
true.
you'll sleep better, you'll have all of these things, but
Bit of
you gotta,
circulation
yeah,
too.
it's
Yeah.
inflammation, just recovery, mental clarity. There's bunch of them that are all scientifically proven now that they just show, and I want to do a bit more on the sauna, but it's a bit harder. You have to actually buy a sauna really if you don't live in town, so we'd have to get one. But those two things, just the health benefits alone, have shown so much. But for me, just the mental side of a cold plunge is what I really do it for.
I know, like even as a kid, you always wanted fishing to be seen as a full sport
Yeah,
where you have to train, you've got to eat well, you get,
yeah,
and I
and
love
it's
that
getting there.
you were doing it.
Yeah, it's kind of like where golf was a fair few years ago. You
Mm,
could sort of um, do whatever. Where golf turned into like a full athlete sport, and
mm,
fishing's kind of doing the
it
same as
is.
this younger crowd's coming in, and
Mm,
it's getting that way, which
it
is
is.
cool.
It's awesome. And tell us a little bit about Fear My Heart. So that's Carl's um, brand
Yep.
and another business, like together with the
Hmm.
fishing, but it's separate.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about.
Yeah, it started in kind of 2010 when I first come over here, but it came from watching a Navy SEAL documentary, and the guy I was getting beaten pretty bad over here. It was 2014 when I actually really said it, but I couldn't make it. I couldn't make it to the top 100 guys in the world. I'd been here 4 years. It was just too hard. And I was doing CrossFit at the time, and we watched this documentary on Michael Murphy, which was a Navy SEAL that went to Afghanistan. There's a movie on him, and we watched the actual documentary, and they interviewed the Navy SEAL recruiting officer, and he said, they said, who makes the Navy SEALs? And he said, he said, it's never the strongest, fittest, fastest, most talented guy. They never ever make it to the Navy SEALs. And he said, it's
Right.
the guy with the most heart. And it just hit me because that was me. I'm like, I've got it, but I'm not quite good, and I don't have all these talents that these guys have here in the US. It's going to take me. They got 40 years of experience over me, so it's going to take all of this time. And I went back to a friend's house, Gene, and I told him that story, and I said, and it just came out, and I said, these guys need to fear my heart. And I just saw him like sort of spark up, and he's like, you need to use that. He's like, and I said, what? And he's like, you need to use Fear My Heart. That's cool. And we looked it up, and like it never even been said before. And I took it on as my mantra, and lived and died by it ever since, and made it to the top 100 guys in the world, made it to the Bassmaster Classic now twice. And just that saying alone has just resonated with a lot of people because they
Mm,
hear it and they're like, yeah, I mightn't have the talent, mightn't have all of these things, but I got heart, and I
mm.
feel like you can do it all if you got heart.
Go a long way.
Yeah, and it can you could be someone that's helping children, working at a nursing home for older people. Just it could be anything.
Yep.
You got that heart. It'll take you a long way.
I actually can see that brand going big. Like I can
Yeah,
see
that's
that
my big thing over fishing is I want Fear My Heart to be that
because you
thing.
clean up lakes, you clean
Yeah,
up rivers.
we do Fear My Heart cleanups, clean up trash and rubbish on the lakes and rivers, and we take kids fishing. We want to use it for just
For good.
good. Yeah,
For heart.
yeah,
I love that.
yeah.
And what was the last thing I wanted to ask you? Was how can everyone contact you and follow you? And you've got a YouTube
Yep.
channel. tell everyone how they can follow you because he's amazing.
Pretty much just my name, Carl Jocumsen, Carl, and then Jocumsen, Jocumsen. So Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, website is just at Carl Jocumsen, and then YouTube's the same, and then I have a website, Carl Jocumsen, and then if you want to check out Fear My Heart stuff, it's all the W's, fearmyheart.com, and we've got some cool stories on there, and we've got some merch.
Got all your stories.
You can see, what we're trying to do.
And he's got lots of cool jumpers. I've got like a hat, shirts, jumpers, everything.
Super
it's
cool.
awesome. So lastly, what is your plan for the next year? What's your goal?
Just keep growing, I just always want to keep getting better. I don't want to get stale in any avenue of my life. I want to keep getting better as a dad and a husband and a friend, and I want to keep growing in my career. I want to get Fear My Heart bigger and out there more, and I just think that I can only be happy in progress, and if I'm not seeing that, I get stale with stuff. I have to see progress, and that's so that's just one of my things, is to just always keep getting better in every avenue.
Your little team with Kayla, Evie, you,
and all of us together.
And your supporters, like you've got lots of supporters.
Fan base is unbelievable.
Family, it's amazing. Your little team of three is awesome.
We want to do good things for people. We want to bring people into it. We want to help people, and just keep doing fun, cool stuff, and trying to enjoy life along the way.
Well, now you get to meet my amazing brother. Now you know what I'm talking about every time I talk about him. Thanks for coming on.
Love you.
I love you so much.
Thanks, guys.
And that's it for another week. And next week I'll hopefully be talking to Kayla and my mum.
If you can get her on.
If I can get them on, you'll see it. Bye.
See ya.